guys, it's me, Beau Carter, back once again with another cult movie review. Thanks for checking out the video. Hope everyone is doing well. Today I'm going to be checking out the 1995 drama Leaving Las Vegas. If you haven't already, guys, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help supporting the channel. And yeah, let's get into it. So the film, directed by Mike Figgis, was based on the 1990 novel by author John O'Brien. The movie stars actor Nicolas Cage in the lead role as alcoholic Ben Sanderson. Now, I'm a fan of Nicolas Cage's work. No doubt he's a very capable actor, but it's fair to say that over the years, Cage has starred in some questionable material. But when it comes to this movie, Leaving Las Vegas, Nicolas Cage was absolutely brilliant and fully deserving of his Oscar. I've seen many of his works over the years, and this performance in particular is a real standout in his filmography. Also starring alongside Cage was actress Elizabeth Shue, best known for her work in The Karate Kid and the Back to the Future franchise. So Leaving Las Vegas follows the character Ben Sanderson, a Hollywood agent with a very big drinking problem. His family had just abandoned him, and to make things worse, at the start of the film, we see Ben lose his job due to poor work performance. It was clear from the outset that Ben was going through some serious issues, yet seemed to be in total denial about the situation. He wasn't seeking medical help or an intervention. His only focus seemed on consuming as much alcohol as possible. Ben would go on to receive his severance package from his employer, but ultimately that only made things much worse. With nothing left to lose, Ben burnt his family photos in a drunken haze and set off to Las Vegas in the pursuit to drink himself to death. Upon arriving in Vegas, Ben bumps into a prostitute called Sarah, played by Elizabeth Shue. The two formed this unconventional relationship that served as the basis for the story. Once together, Ben and Sarah seemed to be in a world all to themselves as they bonded over their traumatic memories. We saw the characters come to an agreement whereby Ben spared any judgment on Sarah's occupation, and in return, Sarah would never let Ben stop drinking. I have to say, Nicolas Cage and Elizabeth Shue had brilliant on-screen chemistry together, which was vital for this film to work effectively. I don't know this for sure, but I gathered director Mike Figgis likely put a lot of his time and focus into casting these two roles. So Ben kept drinking, his behaviour got more and more erratic. Sarah continued to whore herself out, and while they assured each other that they were both okay with the situation, it soon became apparent that both were deeply hurt by what the other one was doing. While it was admirable for both of them to be completely honest with one another, it wasn't long before we saw Sarah ask Ben to get help for his addiction, going back on what she initially agreed to. And although Ben had found a woman that had feelings for him, his self-determined death couldn't be changed by anyone, not even Sarah's love. Ben was truly set in his ways, and it was a tragic sight to see. As a viewer, you find yourself caring for the character, hoping that he would come to some realization that this wasn't the way to go and that he could make a change, but ultimately he never does. And having that bleak outcome gave the film a strong sense of realism. Life isn't always great, yet Hollywood had or has a tendency to give us more happy endings than sad ones. For that alone, I appreciated the film not holding back in its ugly depiction of dependency. Interestingly, it's never revealed exactly why Ben drank so heavily. It's kind of left up to the viewer to decipher what exactly was the cause. But seeing Ben in those various drunken states really put into perspective how easy it is for someone to abuse substances to help run away from their problems. So Nicolas Cage won the Best Actor Oscar for his performance in Leaving Las Vegas, something that, as I said, I thought was fully deserved. The Ben character was a drunk in a downward spiral, experiencing deep depression. Cage was masterful here, maneuvering every drunken stumble and line of slurred speech. And as the film progressed, we saw Ben grow more and more sickly with this sweaty, pale complexion. His voice levels, his body movements, everything seemed so authentic, which made for some really uncomfortable viewing. It's safe to say that Nicolas Cage fully committed to this role and clearly trusted director Mike Figgis to ensure his performance wasn't compromised in any way. It's a wonderfully measured performance by Cage, who clearly was at the height of his acting abilities. Don't get me wrong, Cage has delivered some great performances over the years in other projects, but for me, nothing has topped his role in Leaving Las Vegas. I want to take a moment to mention actress Elizabeth Shue, who was brilliant in this film. I've seen some of her work throughout the years, including the 1987 movie Cocktail, acting alongside Tom Cruise. But for me, this was her best performance she's ever given. Her portrayal as Sarah felt genuine as she battled her own inner demons in the midst of Ben's alcohol addiction. And Shue's character showed signs of having some sort of Stockholm syndrome. I say this because we saw Sarah continually accept abuse from her pimp, which she then blamed herself for. It was sad to watch a poor innocent woman wrapped up in this world of debauchery. Ben was the one who couldn't cope with failure, so decided to opt out of life, quite literally. Sarah, on the other hand, maintained a sense of optimism as she struggled along the edges of society in Las Vegas. And with how the movie ended, you hope that the character somehow, some way, found happiness after Ben's death. Cinematographer Declan Quinn did a fantastic job producing some brilliant visuals for the film. Throughout the movie, we are treated to some wonderful cinematic shots of downtown Las Vegas. There is actually a key visual that I wanted to mention where we saw Sarah drip alcohol down her body in front of Ben to entice him. Ben became totally mesmerized as Sarah unstrapped her bathing suit. For a moment, it was like the world had completely stopped and they were the only two people that existed. It was an erotically charged moment that was beautifully captured on film. A stunning visual that would likely exist in the dreams of most alcoholics. Now, I really enjoyed the score for Leaving Las Vegas. It was a mixture of contemporary jazz and piano music that created a stylish yet sophisticated vibe for the film. The soundtrack blended perfectly with the visuals on screen, which only heightened the movie's overall quality. Now, I was surprised to learn that Mike Figgis, the director himself, was actually the one behind the music, the guy that actually produced the whole thing. I read into his biography and found out that Figgis had an actual musical background of sorts. So the director used his talents to conjure up this wonderful, compelling score that stands on its own merits. And I'll have to say, a less quality soundtrack would have made Nicolas Cage's unique performance seem more like a comedic parody. And so, dislikes for Leaving Las Vegas 1995. My biggest dislike for the movie would have to be the lack of screen time for actor Julian Sands that played Sarah's pimp, Yuri. Now, in terms of the character itself, I thought he delivered a believable performance as this European scummy pimp. Sands even adopted this broken English foreign accent which worked wonders for his character. You know, it didn't take much for you to realise that Yuri was a real lowlife. And while it all worked well for the film, the character didn't last very long. And my main issue was that given Sands was great here, I felt his talents were kind of wasted. The Yuri character was introduced and then killed off quite quickly. You know, for me, you either have Sands play a more important role in the film or cast someone else, maybe a lesser known actor, to play the pimp. Maybe there were more scenes with Yuri that were removed from the film's final cut. Either way, it just felt strange having such a capable actor wasted in this minor role. And so, ratings for Leaving Las Vegas 1995. I'm going to be rating this movie a strong 8 out of 10. Ultimately, Leaving Las Vegas is a portrait of hopelessness with the two central characters on their own individual paths to self-destruction. The movie manages to blend the dark comedy and the downbeat tragedy into this emotional, moving love story. And undeniably, this is Nicolas Cage's strongest performance. Even though over the years, Cage has become somewhat of a meme with his outlandish performances, no doubt this role, Ben Sanderson, Leaving Las Vegas, Cage proved to everyone how good of an actor he can be. Here's a movie that, upon its release, received a lot of plaudits, and I think that was fully justified. Brilliant direction from Mike Figgis, who doesn't pull any punches. To those who have yet to watch this one, I'd say go ahead, it's worth your time. But with all that said, this movie isn't for everyone. The lurid depictions of alcoholism, violence and despair could easily put off the casual viewer. So be aware, if you're after some nonsensical escapism, perhaps this movie isn't for you. But if you're someone watching this video that has seen the movie, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Anyways, that's all from me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll be back very soon with more reviews. Please do take care. See you all soon.